out for the live stream. Just run it like a town hall, right, where we talk about like what's going on and what's coming and things like that.
Yeah, please just introduce BPSAA, and look like Draeth is here too, so you can ask a few questions before he's
okay.
here.
Okay. We want to use some of the.
Exactly, because I'm right now got my hands full trying to get the kids in the car and stuff. So.
Oh, it was just for the first 10 minutes when it starts. It's just if people are here and available. We'll just be talking about BPSAA and some of the stuff. If you can't do it, no big deal.
I mean, let me.
You don't worry. You were not informed ahead of time to be to be available for talking during this time. Crypto Rich, if you're able to hear me, the audio situation is either because it's unstable on your end or because you need to turn on push to talk. I suspect that you're...
Tracy,
What's that?
quick question. Does anyone in the first hour present anything? I guess meaning Ergo, are they presenting something?
Yep, there's Ergo, but maybe I pinged Ergo and they said that they were... So they're going to be showing up during... They'll show up in about 20 minutes, assuming that they're going to do what they're supposed to.
Yeah, but there's no... I mean, I can show the Ergo website and search. There's no presentation.
Right, they'll do it through Jitsi.
I mean, there's no slide deck. So they will do it.
Yeah, I'm planning for all the live presenters to just basically be through Jitsi.
Okay, in that case, as soon as they can connect with Jitsi.
Yep.
And are you guys like the MCs oriented to
Remind me when do you want these questions like asked? Are we doing this like during the first 10 minutes? Like as kind of a hangout
No.
or?
That was just a resource in case MCs need a resource. Just do whatever you want. Just like learning the show. So I'm just thinking you guys might want some extra info.
Sending it to ejuliano now. I don't know if Crypto Rich is going to have audio working or not. So it might just be myself and Ejuliano.
Okay. Who's sharing now on the Jitsi?
Oh, that's me. I'll turn my share screen off.
Okay. Is that one half in that?
Say it again.
So when the Komodo live stream account joins this channel, it means that you guys are live.
Okay.
That's a clear sign.
Ah, that's right. But it's on now. Komodo live stream is not here.
Or is it?
I guess we're live.
Yeah, live?
When it comes on the screen, we're live.
Okay, well I guess we have been live the whole
Here making it all happen, and then we're joined right now with Jcharming. Crypto Rich is floating around somewhere. Crypto Rich as well, and then we've got a lot of people joining us from the BPSAA. Right now, Draeth is here, Georgi from BitTube, and I see Cax from Pirate. Not sure if who's going to be talking right now, but we've got a great lineup coming up. A lot of things are going to be discussed, particularly blockchain privacy, security, and adoption. That's right. So let's see what Jcharming is saying. He's joining us today too. Jcharming, what's happening? How's it going?
Hey, it's going really well. It's been pretty exciting to start building up for this conference at the end of the quarter here.
Yes, definitely. When I heard about it, I was very excited to hear about it.
Yeah, so we have a lot of projects joining us, and they're all coming from the BPSAA, which is an alliance that works with adoption, privacy, and security within our space. And they aggregate resources together, and Komodo is a member of this group. And we have presenters from the BPSAA coming by and giving us presentations and some live streams and stuff, all for the next 3 hours. It's pretty great, and these are hot topics for us right now.
Indeed, aren't they? So we're definitely looking forward to talk about them. We're definitely looking forward to hear about them from some of these. I would call them industry leaders and experts in the field of privacy and security and adoption as well. Here we're working towards all of that. So, Jcharming, is there anybody you would like to mention or anything specifically you'd like to mention? Now we've got the BPSAA. Maybe you're going to tell us a little bit about that first.
Yeah, absolutely. So what I'll do is I'll go over a little bit of the schedule today and the speakers. So we've got a couple of different projects. We've got Draeth, who is the president of the BPSAA and and heads up the Pirate Chain project, which is a privacy-based project. We have Jason Brown, Polycryptoblog, who is a Komodo business director here at Komodo and takes a huge hand in the BPSAA. We'll have Kadan CA333 Stadelman talking as well, who is the Komodo CTO. We also have Wolf, who is the Turtle Network dev and partner. We have an Ergo project lead and the core developer, Alexander Kushti. And we have Georgi here to talk with a little bit about BitTube as well. We've got Sentinel, who is going to be stopping by, and they're an Anon decentralized VPN project that actually just had a recent release, and they'll be talking to us about that some and the values, the way they fit in with BPSAA. We've got Hashratez, who is coming to do some live talking from Ether1, and we've got Dragonchain as well, rep stopping by to talk about these various values. So the Blockchain Privacy, Security, and Adoption Alliance, which is what BPSAA stands for, is really an organization that's just to educate the public on privacy and security issues, and that's and as a member of that, Komodo is working with them to help make some noise about them and their topics.
Great. Yes, that's nice. We have Komodo here hosting this event, you could say, but it really is an alliance and a well organized vision that is shared. And really looking forward to hearing from all of these different members from the BPSAA, this alliance.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, we're gonna go ahead and take a short break and get our first presenter ready. The first one comes on in just 10 minutes, and they are going to, let me check my notes.
That's fine. While you do that, I would like to take this moment to welcome everybody who is joining us. Thanks for being here. Thanks for watching. Thanks for caring. And we hope you get a lot out of it. This is a really exciting time to be talking about these topics. And yeah, we look forward to hearing from you. If you want to join us in the Komodo Discord, there's a channel for this event that you can come in and you can listen live in the Discord, but there's also a chat where you can come in and ask questions or just talk with the different people who are involved. So come on to the Komodo Discord and join us. All right, thanks for being here anyway, and we look forward to this.
Definitely. So in about 8 minutes, we're going to have our first speaker on, and that's going to be Draeth with Pirate Chain. After that, we'll have Ergo, kushti from Ergo, attending live to give us some conversation. And we're going to step away to make sure that the speakers are ready to go and that everything's in line. And in the meantime, if you haven't checked out the BPSAA webinar event page, there is some really great information down towards the bottom, which is the BPSAA vision and our Earn for Learning program, both of which you can get involved with. So we're going to go ahead and, or I'm going to step away for a minute, and we'll be back in just a few minutes with our first speaker.
Sounds great. That's right. And I'm ejuliano. I'm glad to be here, and we'll see you in a bit.
You're still on air.
My name's Draeth. I'm engineer by day. I'm the founder of the BPSAA. I'm a captain over at Pirate Chain. And I got into crypto about 2016, originally mining Litecoin, mining for profit, things like that, until I stumbled upon Pirate Chain, which, originally I intended just to mine and sell and things like that. But I realized how special that project was, and the community behind it was amazing. So it was for the first time I actually dove into a project to help out and actually grow that project in any way that I can help out with. So Pirate Chain is a privacy project that originally spawned from Komodo and then took on its own wings and just flew off from there. The basis of Pirate Chain is that it's a Z-only chain to where it's only shielded transactions for peer-to-peer. Now, as far as reasons for helping found the BPSAA, privacy in general should be a major concern for everybody, especially in crypto. That's when the BPSAA came about as an idea, because it stands for the Blockchain Privacy, Security, and Adoption Alliance. So it means banding together projects to focus on those areas that are vital to everyone's daily life, because everyone needs privacy, security, and things like that. And then as far as crypto goes, it's the new revolution of how money should be and how products should work. Having adoption to the level of where it's mainstream, because right now, even with the recent pop off with Bitcoin and all the other altcoins, it's still not to the level where it needs to be. So the BPSAA, as I mentioned, is the Blockchain Privacy, Security, and Adoption Alliance. And the whole reason why it exists is because nowadays projects are just in their own rabbit holes where they're afraid of other projects, stealing their stuff or taking their community or, basically forking them to become something bigger. So it's a lack of trust in crypto in general. And on top of that, everyone's so focused on their own projects that they don't make time to see, wow, these other projects are doing some great stuff. Maybe we can work with them to integrate them and things like that. So by having the BPSAA, we combined all these projects, communities, we combine all these projects' tech, we help each other, we create products using each other's tech. So for example, one of the things that Pirate Chain is working on is a completely full operating system to where it includes Turtle Networks Exchange. It includes Ether1's storage, IPFS storage. It includes Sentinel's DVPN. It includes Ergo's DeFi stuff. It includes everything that all the members have to offer. And by doing things like that, it allows each project to rise up more and be noticed more, and for their adoption rate to be a lot higher than what it currently is. People should absolutely try to join the BPSAA and apply. And there's some that have applied, and at that point in time, we didn't have a need for it, or it just wasn't the right time, and should continue to apply in the future too. And the reason why this is important is because, as the BPSAA grows, there's other technologies out there that are being developed that would be complementary to the whole privacy and security suite with the BPSAA itself, as well as the think tank in general. So, and not only projects can apply too. The developers can apply. There can be partnerships and things like that. We already have several partners that we work pretty closely with to produce some cool stuff and just get the products out there and try to help people too. So, and one thing that we're developing that will increase adoption is the point of sale system that we have planned. Eventually, we're going to produce a point of sale system that merchants can have in store that will allow them to accept any currency that the BPSAA offers, plus other major coins as well. So what ends up happening is the merchant can say, okay, I want to accept just USDT, or I want to just accept Ether1, for example. And it allows the person paying the merchant to pay in any crypto that's in that app. So I can pay in Pirate Chain to preserve my privacy. I can pay in Dragonchain or BitTube. And what'll happen is that'll convert it to whatever currency that merchant wants. So this way, if the merchant wants to accept KMD, it doesn't matter what I pay in, it'll just automatically be converted to that amount. And by doing that, it gives so many options for people to just use whatever currency they want and just have the merchant still accept what they want at the same time. So one of the biggest things for the BPSAA is becoming a 501c3 nonprofit. And what that means is that we're a nonprofit organization focused on education. Now, the education that we'll be providing is helping people learn about ways to protect themselves and their privacy and their security. So increasing their security to where they don't get easily hacked, or they don't make themselves vulnerable to people that are nefarious, or helping them set up a VPN, or teaching them why it's important to have things like a VPN, or keeping their information private and out of the public eye, and things like that. So we'll be eventually holding seminars, and we're going to be having a podcast that our first episode will be probably beginning to mid next month, that'll talk about privacy and security and things like that. So yeah, so as far as other things that are exciting in the crypto space in general, there's some amazing tech being built, and as flashy as NFTs and as much as I hate them, they are producing some really cool things. There was a band that actually released one of their albums via NFTs, and it cut out the middleman, cut out a lot of expenses, and made the music directly to the public rather than through, say, these other corporations that produce the music for them and run through that stuff. So it ties the average user or musician or artist or whatever directly to their community, which is absolutely fantastic. And on top of that, there's gaming platforms being built that are going to be pretty massive, and not just ones that just have those kind of dumb, in my opinion, NFT games and things like that, but some big name stuff coming out on that end. And even the privacy sector, you have Halo 2 and things like that, which is a trustless version of ZK Snarks, which is being developed and tested out and stuff, which is absolutely fantastic. So coming from that end, that's amazing. And plus, all the security features like on-chain 2FA that I believe Polarity built, and which is an exchange, and this stuff that's coming out of Sentinel, for example, with the DVPN, and there's several other DVPN projects out there too that are making some really cool stuff. So it's, if you kind of open up your eyes and peer behind the curtain of all the flashy stuff that the general public sees, there's a lot of cool stuff being developed. And hell, even Komodo's atomic dex is some amazing technology too. So there's a lot of cool stuff being developed if you just kind of peer behind the curtain a little bit and do some digging. To learn more about any of the projects within the BPSAA or the BPSAA itself, you can go to bpsaa.vision. So bpsaa.v as in Victor, ISION. And all of the projects within the BPSAA are listed there. We've got some baseline information on each and exactly how to contact each project and how to join their communities. And then on top of that, you can keep up to date with our newsletters that posted every so often and our quarterly updates. All right, so thanks for having me on. I greatly appreciate it, and hope people learned a lot from this about the BPSAA and just privacy and security in general and why it's important. But also, I want everyone to make sure that they take their coins and tokens off of exchanges and into their own wallets. Never ever leave your assets on an exchange, because even like Binance, you never know what could happen. So not your keys, not your coins. That's the best thing I can say.
All right, we're back here live. So you were just listening to a little presentation there. I'm ejuliano. I'm back with Jcharming here for the 2021 Spring BPSAA webinar. So glad that you're joining us here. We are talking about blockchain privacy, security, and adoption. And we're talking with members of the Alliance. And so with us here now is Draeth. He's going to join us just in a moment. Back with us again is Jcharming. Hi, Jcharming.
Hey. Draeth is here too, right?
That's right. Hi, Draeth.
How's it going?
Very.
Yeah, that was a great talk you gave.
Yeah, appreciate it. Yeah, I'm really passionate about this, so I hope that comes through.
Yeah. So let's we got about 5 minutes that we're gonna take to kind of do some questions and just communication here, since we got you to be on the stream as well. If you're listening in on the YouTube and you're there in the chat, you can drop some questions for Pirate Chain, and we'll carry them back here. And Draeth will drop some answers. And in the meantime, we've got a couple community questions that we have prepped already. So let's do. I'd really like to hear about this one. The somebody had asked that privacy coins have often had a difficult time with listings on centralized exchanges. And we often see delistings of privacy coins, which can affect how easy it is to buy and sell them. What are some of the ways that BPSAA is looking at the angle of adoption and privacy, and the way that those two topics can kind of become conflicting in our space? And we're curious if you have some feedback about that.
Well, to be honest, I think that the role of centralized exchanges as it sits right now will diminish over time and will be more geared toward institutional investors. Now, as far as the average Joe, those people will be will be using dexes like, Polarity, TN Dex, Ergo's Dex when that's built, the atomic swaps from Komodo's atomic Dex and things like that. And with decentralized exchanges such as those, privacy coins shouldn't have issues being listed on those things because, you know, it's not centrally controlled. So that's actually some of the ways that the BPSAA is actually gearing towards, having all of its members on various exchanges like that. Uh, Basically, having our members build decentralized exchanges, or those are, or for those that are already in progress, that is, adding the members to those decentralized exchanges so that the average Joe can at least access those coins or tokens or other privacy coins and stuff to be able to get a hold of them. So, like I said, decentralized exchanges are going to be the future of trading for the average person, and then centralized exchanges will be used primarily for institutional investors.
Very interesting. That makes a lot of sense. That was a good question there, Jcharming. So shout out to the people who are asking questions and participating in this discussion. Yeah. So Draeth, you are very passionate about this all, and it does show. And I, for one, really appreciate the initiative taken to create the BPSAA. So what type of, there's been a lot in the news about Robinhood sharing user data. So how does blockchain change this? And if you want to talk about any strategies for adopting new business models that empower users to retain their privacy, I guess more so, like, how do you envision helping people to be empowered to retain their privacy, own their data, and that kind of thing? Oh, Draeth, you're on mute right now if you're not aware.
Ah, gotcha. Okay, yeah. So one of the biggest things is promoting dexes, right? Because with stuff like Robinhood, it's centralized to the point where they own all the data on it and everything about you and everything that you do. On decentralized exchanges, you own the wallet that you're trading with, and nobody who has any control over it. So this way, you can do what you want to do with it. Now, on top of that, you can use services like decentralized hosting for keeping your data to yourself by using stuff like Ether1, using decentralized VPNs such as Sentinel, and things like that to make sure that your data is your data and nobody else has any chance of looking and taking that data.
Good point.
Yeah, that's a really great one. That was the there's a talk about companies using the strategy of data is the new oil of the digital economy. And the question is like, will they continue to crutch on that, or will they like start rallying behind privacy and like finding good developer? I think that answer really showcases some of that. I do have one more question to bring forward, and then after that, we're going to move to a 5-minute break and get ready for our next speaker to hop on, which is going to be with Ergo. And this question is talking actually specifically about Robinhood and the shenanigans that's been going on in the news with with that. So it reads like this. As of February 2021, it was reported that Robinhood has made nearly $700 million sharing user data. Do you think blockchain has the ability to change this?
Oh, absolutely.
Absolutely. I mean, granted, you would have to use blockchains that have privacy protocols built in, because realistically, with any transparent transaction chain, you know, you could see what trades are made. Granted, if you use things like decentralized exchanges where they don't require user information, things like that, then it's very limited on the data that they can capture. But if somebody were to happen to know your wallet address, they could see all of your transactions. So something like, for example, Pirate Chain, you know, all those transactions are hidden from the outside view. So the only people that know that transaction occurred is the actual people involved in that transaction. So by using stuff like Pirate Chain, for example, that'll mitigate any sort of data leakage, or just, you know, outside companies taking that data and using it for whatever purposes they deem fit, which in most cases just to sell to other companies to make money, which is, in my opinion, extremely wrong.
Right on. Okay, thank you. Well, I did want to mention one thing before we move to that break, Draeth. I just learned about a new word called decentralized private networks, and we're thinking that they're going to gain more widespread adoption and compete with what are called VPNs. Would you like to say anything about that? Do you think that they are going to gain that widespread adoption?
Well, the sad thing is that not as many people care about their privacy as they should. You know what I mean? So that's why you don't see privacy coins like, you know, going crazy when, you know, in an age where, you know, privacy is at the forefront of the fight for, you know, human rights, because everything these days is basically infringing on our privacy. So in terms of adoption for stuff like that, I mean, just like anything else privacy related, it's going to take events to occur to get people pissed off enough to actually want to find those alternatives to use to basically, you know, protect their privacy. So
I hear you, and that's actually some very good insight and wisdom that you're sharing, and it shows that you are deep in on this. And so, thanks for being here to answer these questions for us. I'm going to send it over to Jcharming to take us out into the break. Thanks for everybody who's watching right now, and we'll see you after this break.
yeah, thanks for having me on.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, we're going to go ahead and shift over to a 5-minute break, and then when we come back, we'll be talking with Kushti from Ergo, and about Ergo's involvement with the BPSAA principles and what they kind of have going on over there. And in the meantime, don't forget to stop by the notes at the bottom and read up on the BPSAA vision, and read up a little bit on the Earn for Learning with Komodo for this spring BPSAA themed webinar. And we'll have more speakers coming back for the second hour and the third hour, and have more of these like talking points between the presentations and everything else too. So thank you everybody for your attention. We'll go ahead and move on to a 5-minute break.
So I don't have permission in the Discord. Yeah, now I'm talking through Jcharming. yeah, still it says that I don't have permissions. What's yeah, so yeah, push to talk is at some bottom. Yeah, sorry. Yeah, but where is that setting? So is it some global setting in the Discord? I see. One second. Oh. 1 second. So voice and video push to talk. Yeah, so but it says I need to have focus, right? So then how can I show presentation? Yeah, but it says that I need to have focus. Let's see, guys. One second, guys. Yeah, sorry. One second, guys. So. Yeah. Yeah. So now. so using GT now, so it seems I'm still not heard on the Discord, right? One. Guys, do you hear me? So can I start?
Yeah, yes, you can. Well, just a moment now. We are live. And if you notice that voice, you'll hear Kushti from Ergo. But we're going to be joined by Kushti just in a moment here. Just welcome you back first to this 2021 Blockchain Privacy, Security, and Adoption Alliance webinar. We've got Jcharming here joining me, ejuliano, and Kushti is now joining us from Ergo. We're going to hear a little bit from Kushti and find out what's happening. So Kushti, welcome. Thanks for joining us.
Yeah, thanks for the introduction. My pleasure to be here. Absolutely. And yeah. So let me talk a little bit about Ergo first, and then yeah, about collaboration possibilities with BPSAA members. I will give some thoughts about. So yeah, let me start with some basic things about Ergo. Right. So Ergo is a proof of work cryptocurrency which is following first principles of Bitcoin in short, but yeah, also bringing a lot of innovation. So I believe a lot of principles other BPSA members do share are here in the basics of Ergo. And yeah, let's start. So what was new in Bitcoin? So we had for the first place kind of decentralized replicated database, also known as blockchain. It's pretty well understood in case of proof of work blockchain. Then we have some new kind of financial assets, maybe kind of digital goals, so perfectly scarce digital resource. And certain assumptions. And yeah, then also with Bitcoin, we got into a concept of programmable money. Well, very limited in case of Bitcoin, but still. So, well, if before we had the same contract for each banknote in circulation, each coin also. So now a banknote or a digital coin can have individual contracts in form of programmable code, right? So some executable code. Well, in simplest case, this code is just about checking a signature. All right. So well, basically, Ergo is following the first principles of Bitcoin, so it's intended to be conservative store of value proof of work cryptocurrency, well, permissionless, open, powerful, yeah, with decentralization being the top priority. And also, yeah, a lot of new things here. So Ergo is intended to be a platform for what we call contractual monies, right? So programmable monies, a lot of them. And also with a long-term focus on survivability of the blockchain. Right, so we are on proof of work, right? So because it's widely studied and tested, also known for pretty well known and high security guarantees. Proof of work is permissionless, well, at least in principle. And yeah, also allows for light validation, which also matters because, well, in Ergo, we do care a lot about light clients. So yeah, Ergo is classic proof of work blockchain. Well, with support for light clients. So for the first, maybe or the second time in the space, we got support for NIPA POS, so some ultra efficient SPV protocol, which now deployed in number of proof of work cryptocurrencies. The biggest one is Litecoin, probably at the moment. Right. So for the first time in the space, Ergo also has support for stateless clients. So you can have full node security guarantees with no need to maintain the UTXO set, just downloading proofs of UTXO set transformation and processing them. And because of that, we have full nodes running on Raspberry Pi with just half a gig RAM given to a node, and yeah, still it has full node security guarantees.
Wow. So Kushti, that sounds really great. It sounds like Ergo is built off really secure tech, just like Bitcoin. And it sounds like there's a lot of interesting things to go into, a lot of details. Is it true that you brought a presentation to share with us?
Yeah. So I'm going to finish with tech basics in like 2 minutes, and then yeah, I will talk about applications we have, and yeah, then possibilities to collaborate, right?
Yeah.
All right. So
yeah, there's an issue with the presentation because you I guess you're in the presentation mode, and we are only seeing the first slide. But it's okay. I've been showing the website.
Yes.
So
okay. So
all right.
Yeah, go for it. Just finish out quickly on the last thing you were saying there, and then like Otto said there, the presentation is up for us to see. Okay.
Yeah, all right. So yeah, light clients, and then yeah, so about smart contracts, well, we are achieving much more than Bitcoin and most of other blockchains with extending the UTXO model of Bitcoin. So then we have smart contract possibilities, well, with different tools than Ethereum and Ethereum-like blockchains. So still we are in the UTXO model of Bitcoin, but doing much more. Right, so well, we had a lot of financial applications in mind, and also in Ergo we have support for a variety of cryptographic protocols known as Sigma protocols, also generalized Schnorr proofs. Right, so we have native custom tokens. Right, and because of that, yes, keeping some details, we have some cool things like native support for true ring and threshold signatures with zero knowledge property being preserved. Right, we have Schnorr signature in the simplest case of a signature. Right, so yeah, we have storage rent, something which is discussed in the Ethereum community, but still not there. So in Ergo, it's since day one. Right, we have possibility to update the protocol parameters via minor thwarting. So TPS limit is already 5 times higher than during the mainnet launch. And so on. So yeah, I'm now jumping to the ecosystem that we have. So Ergo is not privacy coin, right? But it has non-interactive mixer, so you can achieve fungibility of your coins without interaction with anyone, right? So you are just working with the blockchain. So we have Oracle pools, so some agreement protocol for oracles to deliver data via consensus on chain. We have Ergo auctions, now pretty popular, well, among some NFT artists and so on. So you can check, there are like hundreds of auctions running in parallel there. We can have zero knowledge treasury, some tool to spend funds with privacy being preserved on chain. Right, we have already contracts and matcher done for the Ergo DEX, and we are working on UI. So stablecoin is coming, we have the website for the ecosystem, sigmaverse.io. Right, and yeah, now about possibilities to interact with other BPSAA members.
Right, so
Probably,
Kushti.
Yeah.
I just want to thank you for sharing that with us. That was a lot of information and a lot of details. But that's
Right.
great. And
Yeah.
I just, so thank you. And it sounds very compelling. It all sounds very compelling. So I encourage everyone to look more deeply into it. So
Yep.
yeah, so now you're going to share with us specifically about the presentation which relates to BPSAA and Ergo. So we look forward to hearing that from you now. And yeah, sorry to interrupt you, but I just wanted to reset us there. Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm over with Ergo overview. So yeah, it was very quick and so overload. So right. So now you can check website, right? Well, without rush and so on. So yeah, about collaboration with other BPSAA members. So in the first place, we are going to be listed on Total Network, right? So to have a gateway to Total Network and back, right? And yeah, what I'm also thinking and wonder what can we do with Komodo. Right, so I need to check other chains. So Science Komodo, it's already on Schnorr signature, it seems. So it's supporting music signature scheme, right? So then we can do private swaps. So we already had some demos. Right, so as Ergo is on Schnorr signature as well, so we already tried music, and then we can do some private swaps, so some swaps which do preserve privacy on chain, unlike atomic swaps, right? So yeah, on the blockchain it will be seen as just on-chain transfers, but in reality it will be cross-chain transfers, right? So yeah, it's kind of very cool, but yeah, not much demos even around now, and so we can work on that, right? So then Ergo is also supporting atomic swaps for sure, right? And so yeah, we can be on atomic DEX. Right, and yeah, also in Ergo we are thinking about doing some side chains. So it seems, well, some details will be revealed in like 2 or 3 months. That's well, in some aspects, well, Ergo-based sidechains can be superior to what's known at the moment. And in some cases, we can have well, trustless two-way pegs even, but yeah, a lot of tricky details here, as usually, right, in case of sidechains. But yeah, in some case, it could be possible even. Unlike what we do have now, right, with Ethereum and Bitcoin sidechains, which are mostly based on federation multisig. All right, so yeah, we would be happy to discuss more. And yeah, in regards with privacy, security and so on. So yeah, again, so Ergo is not a private coin, right? Because we are mostly targeting smart contracts, DeFi and so on. So then it's very tricky. Well, I mean, almost impossible to do efficient privacy, right? But yeah, also we have still some superior approach to privacy in comparison with non-privacy coins, right? And we would be happy to collaborate more in regards with non-interactive mixing and privacy-preserving financial applications.
Wow. Look,
That's my vision. Yeah, that's it.
yeah, no, this is great. I would love to actually hear you talking to the other members and what those discussions would sound like. Yeah, you've talked about a lot of things, and even I have a lot of questions that I would love to ask you. But before that, we don't have much time left before the end of this hour. But there are some questions that have been asked that I'm going to share with you. Okay, so just one moment.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, we can take 1 or 2 requesters, but we have to go to a break in 1 or 2 minutes.
That's right.
To stay on schedule.
Yeah, let me. I've actually got one here hanging out. Any comments on the Cardano sidechains and how Ergo can help? And how's the DEX coming along? This is from Kron Dano on the YouTube right now, asking a question put out for Ergo, and would love to hear that.
Yeah, I see. Yeah, so in the first place, we need to get more details, right, about some certain aspects of Cardano development. So we are in some talks about that, and yeah, we also need for contractual support, right, on Cardano side. And see, so there are some easy work here to be done, and then yeah, not so. So the easiest option is to do sidechains between Ergo and Ergo based merged mined proof of work chain, right? Well, then we can have trustless two-way pack, well, with Ergo contractual capability. So, yeah, it will be published some details on that in like 2 months, I guess. Then,
Okay.
yeah, the harder part is yeah, sidechain between Ergo and the other proof of work blockchain. But yeah, it also depends on contractual capabilities of both chains. And yeah, then we have proof of stake, and here we need to consider some assumptions, right? Additional security assumptions to be involved. So yeah, it's the most tricky case, but I guess, well, in a few months we can have something to show.
Okay, good.
So,
maybe we'll hear more about it then. Look, we have time for, unfortunately, we have 2 questions. We have time for 1 more before the break.
We need to go to break now.
Oh, we are? Okay,
Sorry,
so maybe
we are only on...
yeah, it's...
No more talking about it. The way it is, the way it is. It's no mystery. There's no getting around it. When you're here, we got chemistry. We light up when we ignite. We are stars in a darkened sky. When you leave, don't forget to remember. Don't forget to remember me. When you leave, don't forget to remember. Don't forget to remember me. Remember me. I'll fight for you every second. To keep your touch in my memory. I try not to regret it. What could have been, should have been. If you would stay with me. When you leave, don't forget to remember. Don't forget to remember me. When you leave, don't forget to remember. Don't forget to remember me. Remember me. Remember me. We light up when we ignite. We are stars in a darkened sky. When you leave, don't forget to remember. Don't forget to remember me. When you leave, don't forget to remember. Don't forget to remember me. Remember me. Remember me. Remember me.
live streaming this 2021 Spring BPSAA webinar. My name is ejuliano, joined with Jcharming. And now we have Polycryptoblog of Komodo platform joining us to talk in this adoption hour about some principles of adoption. Polycryptoblog, thank you for joining us. How are you today?
Thank you for having me. I'm doing fine.
Awesome. Yeah, you're super busy working on that adoption, aren't you?
Yes. Oh, sorry. Hold on.
No worries. There's adoption in action. How's it going,
Yeah, I was going to say
Jcharming?
adoption
Are
is
you,
calling now.
yeah, are you enjoying
Yeah.
this webinar? Okay, Polly's back. Well,
Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
back. Sorry. Yeah, I'll have to message him back. Yeah, like you said, adoption's already calling. So, yeah. So today I wanted to speak a bit about the adoption aspect of the BPSAA, and more specifically how Komodo ties into that, and what we have plans for going on in the future. So, Komodo is one of the older projects of the BPSAA group. We've been around since 2016 officially, but work predates that by several years. And one of the formative, I guess, ideologies behind our project was came from a lesser known project called SuperNet. And SuperNet, just like the BPSAA, was a group of different projects who are working, who were working together on tech sharing, on getting cryptocurrency and blockchain technology out there to the masses. It just, due to normal events, unfortunately, SuperNet didn't, take off like how we expected. So when the BPSAA came around, we thought, oh, this is a great opportunity to revitalize that idea. So for Komodo's part, we'd like to provide educational materials and help other BPSAA members integrate our tech, whenever we have the resources to do so. Also, we have a real focus on holding events such as this one and several future ones I'll talk about here shortly, as well as getting out boots on the ground, speaking with people to get them to adopt cryptocurrency, whether it's in their personal lives or in their business or in their investment or whatever method that makes most sense for them.
Right. Okay. So there's just a lot to be done in terms of adoption. Is there anything that needs to be improved before we see further mainstream adoption?
Well, so mainstream adoption, I guess in cryptocurrency has been kind of lucky that we've had some mainstream media coverage, like you see Bitcoin on CNBC all the time, like a price ticker. You see it being talked about all major news sources. However, they talk about it as kind of an investment. And even when you hear people who are in the space, they talk about their gains and such, and that's really in relation to dollars. It kind of misses the entire point of cryptocurrency as a technology to be able to, decouple from traditional finance systems or just traditional systems in general. So while mainstream adoption has been increasing, there's the understanding of cryptocurrency hasn't. That's where the BPSAA really will come in and shine, is that all of us are heavily involved in blockchain projects. We're not like influencers who, hop on YouTube and show a project, try to, get some gains. We really are very passionate about the technology. So we want people to have, to understand how like UTXOs work on Bitcoin, how, account-based systems work, how, signing works, why if you mistype your seed, just by one character, it gives you a complete different address. These things that people, when they get introduced to cryptocurrency, is very kind of frightening for them. From personal experience, I've dealt with dozens, not hundreds of people over the years who, freak out that, they mistype their seed and, they think they lost all their funds, or somebody robbed them, or something. And when it was just a simple lack of knowledge, or a simple misunderstanding that could have, if they had that little tiny bit of knowledge, it would have saved them so much headache and frustration. So I think our purpose is really to educate the masses and get them to think about it more than just, oh, I hold on to some coin, it's going to make me rich one day. You think this is actually a tool that's going to fundamentally change how we do things in society. The money aspect is a good example. Previously, we had to rely on central banks on their private ledgers that are not able to be audited, at least in the United States. Our Federal Reserve does not allow auditing of their records. And compare that to Bitcoin, which is a public ledger. It could be audited anytime since the inception to see if any, what funds moved where, if there's been any, issue that happened, like a hacker or something, that could be analyzed and traced. So yeah, it's understanding these important part that the coin is just a small fraction of what this has, what kind of benefits this brings to the world.
Right on. Wow, this is true. And you make a really good point about the educational aspect of the BPSAA. And now you're with this alliance. Komodo is working alongside with the other members of the BPSAA to bring this education. You were just talking a little bit about the Federal Reserve and kind of legacy systems. How much of educating the masses is involved, not just with the crypto technologies themselves, but also with this type of information about what money is, where it comes from, and what has it been, and what could it be? Those types of things. Is that also part of the educational process that you're thinking of?
Yeah, so like educating companies and different groups of beyond just individuals is very important as well. We see some adoption out there, like just recently Tesla announced they started accepting Bitcoin. And we also hear of other companies starting to investigate these ledgers. But they're still, they're only like one step removed from their current, centralized systems. They still need to be educated on how to completely mold their current business solution to a new decentralized, globalized world. A good example of this is permission chains, right? So currently there are, we have to do KYC, AML, and such on centralized, services, and with permission chains, that the same type of model exists, which might be necessary for certain businesses, but it's not necessary for all, and it could be explained. Sorry, excuse me 1 second.
No worries.
So that.
Yeah, these
Sorry,
are good
hold
signs.
on 1 second.
No worries, these are good signs. No worries. No worries. All righty. Well, yeah, so
Adoption is not only calling, it's now knocking, beating down the door.
Exactly. And but as we can see, Polycryptoblog has a lot of good understanding about bigger picture that's involved in adoption, and understands the difference of paradigm shifts. And so I'm glad that he's here to help us understand that a bit better.
Yeah, and I think we're getting ready to move on to a kind of like a question volley from some of the questions that people have coming in, and a few that we have like on the backlog. If we're ready to move that way.
Sorry,
We definitely are. We're just let.
Sorry about that.
Yeah,
Oh,
no
that's
worries.
okay. Are you able to stay for a little bit of
before
Q&A?
we get into questions, I would just like people to be aware that we have an event on April 16th at Texas A&M that anyone is welcome to come to. us at Komodo and other BPSAA member Pirate will be there to discuss some of the aspects of our technology and some similar topics that we're discussing today, like adoption, privacy, security as well. And we also plan on having an event in the summer that we will be announcing later, another BPSAA event, also to be tied in with many other different crypto projects that are not just BPSAA related, but we hope to incorporate in our endeavors towards public education of blockchain technology.
No, that sounds good. That sounds real good. And good luck with that that event at Texas A&M. And so if anybody has any curiosity about that, you can always pop by the Komodo Discord and ask questions. But yeah, now we have this Q&A for Polycrypto. So maybe Jcharming, you want to ask the first question?
Yeah, absolutely. So we've got a couple. If you're out there listening and you're following along on YouTube or watching on Twitter or just here in the Discord channels, you can drop some questions and we'll bring them to the mic and bring them to the live stream to give volume to that. We have some questions for adoption though that we've already picked up, and I'm just going to pick a couple out. Here's a good one. What do you see as the next big use case that might lead to mainstream adoption? Like when it comes to adoption, because recently, there's been all this talk about NFTs and whatnot, and we're just getting organizations that are starting to add Bitcoin in as a hedge fund against like fiat currencies, and this USD coin, right? That's like out in the wild that has no white paper and no release schedule and all this stuff. So what do you see as the next big thing for mainstream adoption?
So regarding mainstream adoption, I believe that people don't like them as much as stable coins. I think they will be taking a good forefront in terms of day-to-day usage of cryptocurrencies. One of the biggest problems with crypto in general is the inability to price goods, because every second a crypto like Bitcoin stuff changes its value. So unless you have something that's constantly tracking it, then it becomes hard. Also, the fact that certain coins you have to wait a period of time to actually have them sent over. Price can change during that, so that's a problem. That's why I think stable coins will definitely be taken forefront in the coming years. You mentioned NFTs. I believe NFTs will continue as well, getting some steam, though I don't think the long-term trajectory for NFTs in their current state as like just digital representations of art are really like the future of them. Where I see NFTs really really shining is in so one form would be like a receipt. So like for instance, if you were storing something in a warehouse, you could have an NFT that matches up to the lot in the warehouse, and then contain all the information where it's stored, what shelving or whatever. I think that would be a really good use for them, though obviously not as like financially attractive, like how we've seen a $69 million NFT just get sold. But I think it's a good real world use case that will solve a lot of inefficiencies in warehousing. Also, in terms of codifying copyright. Now, when somebody creates a work, like a song, or they write something up, they will they technically have the copyright then and there. But just for added safe measure, a lot of times people register it with their government in a database, even though it doesn't add any additional rights. It just gives you a point of time that, hey, I have the rights at this specific time. I think taking that type of legalistic structure and putting them into the process of creating an NFT, I could see that going really well. Because copyright's a big issue with things on the internet today. People steal each other's pictures, and they'll take an article and spin it, change it just a bit. and people are essentially getting robbed for their hard work. So I think that like I said, copyright is another example where NFT is going to really shine.
Nice.
As non-fungible tokens for people who are new and chiming in, don't know what we're talking about. So another paths of adoption.
Okay.
I see the financial world also take a really good interest in cryptocurrency. They're
Okay.
like,
Hold on there, Polly. This is, you always have such amazing insights and information to share. We unfortunately are on a bit of a time schedule, so
sorry.
we're going to have to jump to a break. But no, because we would. I'm going to ask if you can stick around. We can hopefully ask a few more questions when the timing suits us a bit better. Is that okay for you? Maybe we'll chat about it in the break. But yeah, we're going to have to take a break, everyone. We're going to come back. But thanks for being here and listening. Unfortunately, I wanted to ask that question, but Jcharming, what do you want to say?
Yeah, we got up next. We have Turtle Network, and then after that, Dragonchain, both members of the BPSAA, talking about adoption and giving more volume and birth to a lot of the topics that Polly was just talking on. And if Polly's available, I would love to have him stick around to get to do some of the talking points and questions and answers for after those segments, especially if we get some other presenters showing up to talk too.
Yeah, always nice to have you around,
Sure.
Polycryptoblog.
Sure, thank you, Brad.
Alrighty. So we're gonna head over into a break. I think we have about a minute here. No, maybe not. Anyway, everyone, we'll see you after the break. Okay. And we're back for this 2021 spring BPSAA webinar. I'm joined with Jcharming. My name is ejuliano. And we're going to hear now from Turtle Network. So we're just going to throw it on over to them. Thanks for joining us, and we hope you enjoy this presentation.
Hi, everyone. It's a pleasure to be here and speaking. My name is Nathan. I'm also known as Grey Wolf or Wolf of Waves. I entered as like a participant investor in 2015. I had heard about Bitcoin before. I had seen it online. I had tried to understand it. It didn't really make sense to me at the time when I was much younger. When I started working like a job and started earning money, it started to kind of make sense in 2015. So I just put away all the money I earned from my summer job, and I bought Bitcoin with that. At that point, I was just holding. So I wasn't looking at any insane. Like a really cool idea. So I can contribute to the network, and that's a way to secure to the sometime after that. I had found out that Turtle Network came into existence, and it was essentially just a community operated fork of Waves. I really resonated with that because when I had originally read that white paper in 2016, I was envisioning a very community oriented project where suggestions would be very well heard.
What is Turtle Network? Tell us a little bit about it.
Sure. So just for like a very brief overview, the Turtle Network is a one-to-one fork of the Waves platform project from 2016. One of the things that is a large standout element is that it's a community-driven project. So nobody is paid. There are no salaries. Everybody contributes what they're able to contribute, and the network moves at the pace of everyone's contribution speed. It's open, it's fair. Anybody can come build on it, and it's also very flexible and resilient. So it's able to really support a lot of different use cases. It can also accommodate a lot of different innovations through collaboration or integration with other projects in the space.
So with that in mind, what are the reasons that you and Turtle Network joined BPSAA?
A couple reasons that Turtle Network joined BPSAA. One of the largest ones was that it resonated with a lot of the core ethos of the project. BPSAA is about privacy, security, and adoption. And Turtle Network is about being open and willing to join hands with others. The second reason that the Turtle Network has joined the BPSAA, it wants to become an integral piece in a much larger machine. The Turtle Network doesn't believe in tribalism or maximalism, so the BPSAA was really the ideal home for Turtle Network to end up under.
BPSAA itself really consists of promoting three elements really steadily, and that is privacy, security, and adoption. Every project in BPSAA kind of has a unique take on these elements. Which of these do you feel apply to Turtle Network, and can you talk a little bit about them?
From my standpoint, I feel that Turtle Network resonates most strongly with the adoption portion of the BPSAA. One of the key things that Turtle Network focuses on is partner integrations with other blockchains. And the strongest driving reason behind this is, that is the way that we show our ethos the strongest, is that, we really believe that we're an open network. And so we try to be open and accessible to not just the BPSAA, but all projects that are interested. The same way that, for example, Pirate Chain ensures that everyone who uses that network is secure and private.
So, why should people be paying attention to BPSAA and other organizations like it that are in the fight for security, adoption, and privacy? And why are these things important? And why should they be important for everybody?
I believe that, these things should be important to people because at the end of the day, they really align with what the core ethos of crypto was to begin with. If we go back to kind of the earliest murmurings of Bitcoin reaching mainstream, people say things like, we need to bank the unbanked. That's probably my favorite because if you look around at the progress of banking the unbanked in the world, there's still a lot of people that don't have access to financial services or even identities. So I don't feel that that's been adequately accomplished. And so that really drives the importance of associations like the BPSAA because they're not focused on market cap. They're focused with their core ethos of, bringing blockchain, privacy, security, and adoption to the masses. Furthermore, speaking just for the BPSAA, one of the things that's kind of neat about it is if you look at the way that the projects integrate with each other, in a sense, you could see that they're building their own decentralized finance operating systems. And something to compare this to would be classic DeFi on Ethereum. So there you have a trustless environment, but you have a lot of hurdles, a lot of steps, a lot of the process you have to figure it out yourself. One of the goals that the BPSAA has in ushering adoption is that it needs to make all these softwares not just work with each other, but work easily so that it's accessible to everyone. And that really touches back on the, banking the unbanked or driving utility, driving innovation, driving developments, things that, actually matter.
I'm getting mad, like early 2000, like 10, 15 vibes from all this. This is cool.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, that's where my head is, like just from like a personal standpoint. Like I got into crypto and like my life paused, I guess. Like, I've held on to these ideas that like Satoshi dropped, and so much has just changed. It's really, really wild.
Your work with Turtle Network has been talking a lot about adoption in our space and crypto adoption and how important that is. And you've also mentioned that the other topics about BPSAA and which it stands for are also really important to you. So can you tell us a little bit about security and privacy and like what those topics mean to you from Turtle Network's point of view?
So when referring to security in regards to the Turtle Network, some of the most important elements that we see are that strong decentralization is a very positive thing. It allows for new regimes to kind of exist that couldn't necessarily before.
Final question to throw at you is from your point of view and what you see going on and being involved in BPSAA and kind of being involved in the section of crypto that that is still like pushing for tech development and advancement and these like important topics as opposed to just shilling ridiculous NFTs and price action. What do you think's like coming like next for us as crypto, like in general, like for the whole sector? Like where are we headed? Like what's going on? Is it just NFT memes the whole way down from here, or is there hope for more?
There's absolutely hope for more. Just to comment on the NFT thing, every year you're gonna see something pop up in crypto that makes you feel the FOMO. Um, and it just so happens that this year NFTs really took off and kind of captured the spotlight. But in the past, most people would be familiar with similar marketing tactics to ICOs. And a lot of people took the short end of the stick buying into some ICOs and, that whole manic thing. What I'm most excited for is all of the projects who have been just building things, developing infrastructure, innovating on top of traditional frameworks in such a way that it gives people more freedom to transact with their finances. So, my favorite example, I guess, is really just the sum of all decentralized finance operations we're seeing kind of bloom up today. So, on Ethereum, you have platforms like Aave Lending, Compound Finance, and those are what I would call like level one DeFi apps, right? They're just protocols. And then you have version 2, which is like Yearn Finance, which basically you can interact with it and it'll take your funds, put them into secured strategies, and the funds will earn interest without you doing anything. And so going further from that point, what we're going to see eventually is we're going to see operating systems bloom out of this, where people have a very broad scope of things they want to accomplish. So they would want secure internet browsing. So that operating system would probably come with a DVPN. They would want secure currencies. So it would come with a zero knowledge based coin wallet. You need secure file hosting. So it would also have a decentralized file hosting service baked right into it. And what is really special about that is you're going to have a lot of grassroots entities similar to like the Linux movement, creating all these different operating systems that are really driven towards utility and personal empowerment. And those are the things that excite me the most is when crypto can empower a group of people to do something that they couldn't before. And to me, that's really where the magic of the internet kind of lies, is in development, building infrastructure, and then making positive change in the world around you. In conclusion, if you're passionate about technology and you feel like you have good ideas or good suggestions, the best place for you is in open source projects. So if you want to have an impact, you want to go find communities and projects that are looking for open contribution. And one of the best ways you can find communities like that is by joining the BPSAA and finding out more through our Telegram channel.
All right. That was a really, really great topic over over Turtle Network and a bunch of the BPSAA values. Don't you think, Juliana?
Definitely, and definitely glad to hear it.
Yeah. So what we're going to do now, because we're actually running a little behind in the schedule, is we're going to go ahead and go over to our next presentation that we have, which is from Dragonchain as well, on this topic of adoption and the importance of it in our system and how BPSAA is connected with trying to make that happen for all the members that are associated with it. So let's go ahead and head on over to it, and then we'll do some questions and wrap up afterwards and move over into the next hour.
I'm Joe Roets, and I'm the founder and architect of Dragonchain. I'm a software architect primarily. I've been doing that for a few decades. I used to be a great coder back in the day. But I got into crypto because I had a group, and we were doing primarily federal contracting with working on big systems, modernizing them, making them run better, doing things that needed to be done. And one of my guys brought in the Satoshi white paper, I think from a Slashdot post in 2010. And we all agreed to look at it over the weekend and talk about it next week. And I went home and I read it that evening, and I was really blown away by the assembly, the structure of the system. And I was very excited. Went in, basically challenged all of our senior people to either mine or purchase Bitcoin and get it in your personal local wallet, hosted on your own machine. That set off a huge journey, and we started to build as many things as we could. We really looked at all of the potential different ways you could use it other than currency, other than what it was already being used for. My goal became to figure out all of the all the known issues that it had with scalability, with utility, and with security, right? Or with I guess you could say protection of the business data that otherwise would be out in public. So started really thinking about a lot of those things. Went to a few different startups, really played around with some of the ideas, but nothing huge. And then we would basically end up moving on after these startups to Disney. And at Disney, we built what is Dragonchain now. Okay, so Dragonchain is a hybrid blockchain platform targeted mostly to enterprise businesses that solves the scalability, the interoperability problems that are primarily focused on the adoption question. So, if you need adoption, you need flexibility. If you want adoption, you need to actually be able to build something real that connects to the real world, that doesn't sacrifice your advantage as a business. And joining BPSAA, we realized that the group fit extremely well with our philosophy. That it's kind of a gem in the crypto world, because so much of the crypto world is set on tribalism, and it's a very competitive environment, which is great, but sometimes it gets a little overboard. And we just thought that BPSAA was really targeting everything with the right angle, something that was very similar to what we were trying to do on our own. So it's a very interesting organization and mission, and something that's extremely needed in the world right now. So the BPSAA primarily stands for privacy, security, and adoption. And for Dragonchain, all three of these goals are extremely important. We have very specific IP and systems built around the privacy components. I mean, our core architecture is based upon business data privacy, which is customer privacy, which is individual privacy. In the end, the king of all of this is adoption. That in the end, we as Dragonchain need adoption, and we need adoption not just of Dragonchain platform itself, but of other blockchains. That the other networks, Bitcoin, obviously, Ethereum, obviously, all of the members of BPSAA, that we have a vested interest in the success of all of these networks, because when we are interoperable, that value is going to ring true, that it's going to be something that people finally realize when they're done with all the tribalism, that, if this other crypto project takes off, my customers can now connect to that other crypto project through what we're doing with BPSAA and what Dragonchain does with Interchain. In the end, it's all centering on that adoption question. That if we don't get over some of these issues that we have in the crypto world with letting each other build, we'll never get that adoption, or at least it's heavily attenuated right now, primarily because of that. So BPSAA is particularly valuable because it gives projects a forum where they can voice an idea, as an example, to all of the other projects that philosophically are aligned with the idea that we should be interoperating with each other, that we should be building things with each other and expanding the tech and the sphere of influence of that technology. So should other people join BPSAA? Should other projects join the BPSAA? Absolutely. And the great thing is you can get access to all of these other projects and start building upon these ideas. But at the same time, I can say, yeah, for selfish reasons, I would love for more projects to be in there so that we could plug more things in together and have even more options for what is being built. Crypto will never be as simple as I want to log in with my Facebook ID, right? That is the assumption across the board. There are things that people will think, oh, we can do things better, we can make it more secure, we can do stuff with decentralized identity, but the user experience, the assumption generally, is that the user experience will never be better in crypto compared to the traditional world. I'm going to use my Google account, Twitter account, Facebook account to log in. That what we like to tell people, especially when we're on sales calls, is that there are things that you can do with crypto, that you can do with blockchain technology, that you could never do in a traditional world. Things that are massive improvements. And the funny thing is, it's not even though it's a massive improvement for the business, sacrificing user value or privacy, that this literally will improve the privacy of your users, of your customers, at the same time as it reduces your risk, and it gives you a lot more value that you can even leverage in other ways, like in loyalty systems or other things. But the fact that people aren't looking right now at the user experience effect of the technology because they are assuming that it has to be worse. Because right now it's in pretty bad shape. It is hard to use crypto. It is scary to use crypto for new people. When people get used to it, it's actually dangerous because the user experience is frankly so bad right now. And a lot of what we're doing and a lot of things that are rolling out with Dragonchain right now are hitting that. And we're really excited because there's so much overlap with the other companies, other projects in the BPSAA, that we're going to be able to amplify that, basically. All right, so what's coming next in the crypto space? A lot of things, obviously, but I would center primarily on not just adoption, but actual built out, actual released utility that is which will accelerate adoption. You know, that we're seeing early obvious effect, and we're seeing definite adoption, numbers of transactions, numbers of build outs. But what I'm seeing a lot of is actual systems rolling out with a lot of the capabilities that we've been waiting for a couple of years underlying those technologies. So I think that's where I'm most interested, and in how that utility actually affects or interacts with the real world. You know, the fact that you can actually use crypto without knowing that you're using crypto, and it's the underlying system. It's what's behind the scenes, solving various issues for us. Even though I'm not a technophile, I have no idea what blockchain is. I don't own any Bitcoin, but my life is better because blockchain's there. So what I'd like to ask people to do is to get involved, to go to dragonchain.com, to go to den.social, to go to bpsaa.com, and literally get involved. There are a lot of things that really need to be built, and we need help building them. So the more involvement we get, the more adoption, and the better all of the systems will be. Thanks for joining us at the BPSAA conference, and goodbye.
My name's Draeth. I'm engineer by day. I'm the founder of the BPSAA. I'm a captain over at Pirate Chain, and I got into crypto about 2016, originally mining Litecoin, mining for profit, things like that, until I stumbled upon Pirate Chain, which originally I intended just to mine and sell and things like that, but I realized how special that project was, and the community behind it was amazing. So it was for the first time I actually dove into a project to help out and actually grow that project in any way that I can help out with. So Pirate Chain is a privacy project that originally spawned from Komodo and then took on its own
Okay, now my computer's confused with this Jitsi thing and my camera. All right.
And we are back yet again for this third and final hour of the 2021 Spring BPSAA webinar. We've been joined by a number of different BPSAA members to talk a little bit about privacy and adoption so far. And now this hour is themed around security. So we're going to talk here right now, or at least hear a presentation from, by the way, thanks for joining us and listening to this. We really appreciate it. We have here hash rates of Ether1 and BPSAA. Hash rates, thanks for joining us today.
Pleasure to be here. Thank you for having us.
Oh, wonderful. Of course. And now we're going to just move on into your talk. So we'd like to hear from you. We're going to hear a little bit about security and other things. So take it away.
I appreciate that. A big hats off to Komodo for putting in the event, and also a big hats off to Jcharming, the man that never sleeps, for giving tech support all night long trying to set this up. So it's much appreciated. You know, I came into this space in BPSAA. My presentation today is more talking about BPSAA, not so much from a security, but from a marketing standpoint and such. I have some slides on Ether1, which I'm going to go over, but I really don't want to give an Ether1 commercial today. I want to talk more about BPSAA and my role in the association, also my role in Ether1, which is primarily business development. And we've had a lot of great people talk already today, heavy on technology, about, you know, all sorts of privacy issues and privacy coins and security and all that. And why I think that's really important, I look at it from a little bit different perspective. So a little bit about me. I've been doing software development professionally for over 25 years. I had an ISP back in the 90s, one of the first ISPs in the United States. I've been doing technology and internet for a long time. I got involved with cryptocurrency probably in 2016, and then started heavily getting into it in 2017 as a miner, hence hash rates is how I got my nickname. And as I looked around for different projects, I ran into Ether1. It's something I could mine, and I started mining Ether1. And at one point in time, I carried more hash on that network than anybody else for probably a year. And then I started looking at the project and realized that the project has a real use case. It allows censorship-free hosting. You can mine it, you can host it, you can run nodes, you can make money. And it's like, wow, a real business with a real use case that has real profits in the cryptocurrency space. And so I said, hey, let's check this out a little bit. And I jumped into Discord, which I never really used before. I'm an older guy, right? I got a sport coat on, not a young kid. Got involved in all that kind of stuff, and found the Ether1 folks amazing and the dev team really great. And what they were lacking, I felt, was business, right? A guy with a sport coat on, an older guy, the kind of the man in the room, to be able to bring business development and look at this this open source project, this community project, as a business. And so we are open source. There is no pre-mine, there is no president, there is no anything like that. So that was interesting to get used to. And then furthermore, then comes along the BPSAA. And so they said, hey, we need some folks to help us. And what do you think about this? And I looked at it. I made Draeth, hats off to Draeth for what he does for the association. And Ether1 became one of the four founders of original BPSAA. And primarily, again, I looked at it from a business standpoint. You know, I wanted to get the word out. I wanted to get marketing out. How can small projects somehow band together, weren't necessarily competitors, and get out there into the space and represent these small projects and be able to have a voice, right? And then recently, in the last year, the BPSAA, to me, has become super mission critical for everybody in the space. You know, especially when you think about privacy, adoption, people are adopting cryptocurrencies like crazy. It's all over the news. It's on CNBC every night. They're talking about Bitcoin. The adoption's going to come. Security is obviously important, to have secure networks and not get ripped off and all these type of things. But when you think about privacy, for me, in the BPSAA, it's the first word in the name, right? It's the Blockchain Privacy, Security, and Adoption Alliance. And so for me, in my role at the BPSAA, I think more now than ever, privacy is under attack. I'm a libertarian at heart, and I think that our projects need to band together to protect our users. Our users need to be educated that the BPSAA can do. And there is no voice out there yet that represents this in the space. And I see the BPSAA is really starting to do that. We're getting a critical mass. You know, I think our Twitter feed is now over 400,000 people. And at some point in time, whether we like it or not, you know, we're going to have to be on Capitol Hill fighting for our projects and for our users. And so I think that that is really important. I know it sounds draconian and it's against the crypto ethos of freedom and all that, but the reality is we're going to have to live in this kind of world, and somebody's going to have to bridge that, unless we all want to get crushed by Coinbase, right? And I don't think we want that. So
yeah,
I
you
really
speak loud and clear. You speak loud and clear for sure.
Okay. So that's really what I think is important. And I can let all the technology guys talk about that and all this, but I think for us, really privacy, and privacy means your financial transactions, right? Being able to have transactions with people. How about censorship? Would you call privacy now censorship? I mean, look what's happening with the cancel culture. If they don't like your tweet or they don't like what you're hosting, they'll just pull the plug, right? I mean, this is dangerous territory. And if people don't think we're under attack, you're out of your mind. We are. And I'm not like a conspiracy theory guy, but it is. And of course, now when I talk about Ether One, right now, more than ever, our solution, which is one of many here at the BPSAA, allows censor-free hosting, right? We don't know who you are. You can buy the cryptocurrency anonymously. You can pay for your hosting. You can host things on our network. There is no central point of failure. It's decentralized. And so now even our little solution, which 3 or 4 years ago I just thought was kind of cool, now Ether One is a mission critical solution going forward for privacy. And in this case, I think free speech, if you want to consider two of the same.
Totally.
So it's really amazing what's happening. And the BPSAA right now is needed more than ever. We need projects and we need users, because if not, it's going to be a very unpleasant place for living.
Wow, these words are ringing true, and mission critical is right on, is on point. So you have more to share with us, so please continue.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I could talk a little bit about Ether One. I've got some slides I can throw up real quick if we want to do that. And again, I'm not going to read slides. I'm going to talk a little bit about our project, if that's okay.
That would be fine. Fine, just fine.
Okay. Is the slide feed up? And I'll go ahead and I'll run through some slides real quick.
You are good to go.
So, thank you. So a little bit about Ether One. Again, a little about who we are. We're a decentralized hosting product. We have nodes. People host the nodes. You get paid for hosting the nodes. And so it's a network and it's a protocol that allows basically censorship-free hosting of websites and data. You know, you could think of people in the space like Filecoin and others. There's a lot out there, but Ether One's been around since 2018. May is when we had our Genesis block. So we've been doing this a long time. It's decentralized. Everything about our solution is run by our users. Again, we had a council vote. I got voted on the council along with 6 or 7 others. So we have votes all the time. We're a decentralized organization that our community runs the project. They elect us to go ahead and represent them. Today, of course, on this particular slide, we talk a little bit about free speech and censorship-free hosting. And so, you know, Ether One is really out there right now more than ever to be able to have that kind of solution. And obviously, I guess people are catching on. Our crypto's up 900% as of January of this year. So we're starting to get some traction. Again, we talk a little bit about hosting and storage. We have a dashboard and a wallet that everybody can use to go ahead and be able to upload data and control your data. We can't take your data down. You post your data, you remove your data. It's completely in your control. We don't know who you are. We can't delete your data even if we wanted to, because again, it's decentralized and encrypted. Little bit about our network here, network slide. Again, we've got 700 or 800 servers worldwide. If you want to run one of our servers, you actually share in the network profit as people pay to host. Everybody that's on our network who runs a server actually gets paid for hosting a virtual machine server. So you can participate in the income of the network as we build out. So that's kind of cool. Again, decentralized governance for our project. We believe in our own dog food. There isn't a central authority here. We're all run community by the community. And it's kind of cool. I'm not going to get so much into the technical details here. We've got a great roadmap as we go forward about how our revenue is generated. And again, all this revenue is shared with our users. All of the revenue goes to the users. I think there's a small fraction of the block reward, which is infinitesimal, that actually goes back to the project. So there's kind of a little roadmap there that we have on board. And then for those of you that are into the mining thing, we have a sliding block scale as we transition away from block rewards more to a network-based income stream. There's our chart for our depreciation of the token, and then a little competitive analysis here on the right side, talking about how we compare against some of the other decentralized file serving solutions out there. Of course, we think that we're way out in front of that. So that's a little bit about who we are. But again, my role, I think, at BPSAA is to represent our organization going forward, and also to rep the BPSAA as we mature as an industry, and to be able to bring together all the players at the BPSA, all our partners in the alliance, to be able to have a word and a central authority to be able to take this space where it needs to go. I know, again, that the ethos is that people are not interested in having everybody give in to the man, but the reality is the man's out there, and we're going to have to man up if we want to be able to stay independent and have privacy and have security and have adoption. How's that?
Yeah. That all sounds really great. And Hashratez, it sounds like you have the strength and the courage and the wisdom that is very valuable to have within this type of initiative, this type of vision. And so Ether1 is very lucky to have you around, and BPSAA is really lucky to have you around. And just like you kind of hinted at the beginning of what you were saying, the entire crypto industry, the world is very lucky to have the BPSAA around. And growing and maturing is definitely something that we look forward to see from the BPSAA. And with you around, definitely sounds like it's and Draeth and everybody else who's just all these members who've been around here. This is amazing. I'm so glad to talk to you all and listen to you all speak. And thanks for coming on. We have a couple of questions, and then we're going to have to move on to a short break, okay?
Sounds great.
Yeah, that was an absolutely phenomenal conversation presentation you gave us, Hashratez. Thanks for that. You okay to hang out for to answer a few questions?
I love you guys, of course. You bet. Absolutely.
Cool. So I know like a really big one that we've gotten to hit a couple times, and would definitely love to hear your point of view in Ether1, like with this whole this market-minded attitude. What do you think is coming next for crypto? Like what's going on next in our space? Do you think is going to be the next big thing? Are we just NFTs forever from here on out, or is there other tech and development coming too, do you think, that we can all actually get on board and be excited with?
The NFT thing, I think, is Dutch tulips. I think it's cool and it's fun. I certainly wouldn't put my life savings into it. That's not the space. What the space is, what's going to really make this $1 billion or $1 trillion industry, is use case and business utilization. NFTs are fun, but it isn't really solving a problem, right? And it's speculation. And I love to speculate. I love to mine, and I buy, SHIT coins and all that other stuff, and it's fun, and I play, right? But it isn't business. The real gorilla in the room is when people are using blockchain for mission critical applications, period. That's when we become $1 trillion industry. And every day we're getting closer to that. DeFi, for example, right, is really turning out to be cool. I wrote an article, you guys, it's on Medium, actually, about how I bought my car using Daicoin, and I used Ethereum to finance my car. I kept my crypto, and I bought my car with Ethereum that I never had to sell. I got thousands of hits on that Medium article. So I went out and I bought a car, and that's when Ethereum was $200, and I never sold one of them, thank God, right? So that's a real use case. A guy bought a car with his crypto, and he still has his crypto. Huh? That's super cool stuff.
That's so great.
Oh yeah, my Medium article crushed it. That 5,000 hits or something. It's really fun. That was last summer.
Well done.
That's so cool.
So that's
right.
it. That's it. It's adoption for mission critical business applications. DeFi right now is the space. There's a lot of BS out there, but that is only the one of where we're going to go. It's exciting. The space has never been more exciting.
Well,
Thanks for all that.
I think you said it with that. I don't have any other questions, Your Honor.
Okay.
Yeah, I
No,
think
but
we're going
for
to get
real,
ready to
it's
head
like-
on to a 5-minute break.
Yeah, it really is, though. You're right. It's get that use case going and make it work. And with that being said, good luck with that. Okay, and thanks for being here.
Thanks, guys. Great job today. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you too. This is great to get so much talk from the BPSAA. It's such a clutch group in this space.
And I just love how everything really fits well together. There's just, like you said, you're talking about use cases. I mean, BPSAA is all about empowering the people who choose to use all of these technologies that are starting to emerge.
Yeah. be back in just a short amount of time. Georgi from BitTube, I shared the link with the Jitsi that we're waiting for you in, and you can do your setup from there. I just want to make sure that you have the right one because I don't see you in it yet.
Make a transition now. Could you see?
We are live. Yeah, George. That's Georgi from BitTube. We're live here with the Spring 2021 BPSAA webinar, and that's Georgi from BitTube. He'll be coming up in just a little bit to share. But first, we're waiting for. We've got DC123 here from Sentinel. We're going to hear a little bit about what's going on there, and more so about the BPSAA and. Some more information there. So here we are. Here's DC123 and Jcharming. You hear his voice. Hi, Jcharming.
Hey, yeah, Sentinel's here to give us a lot of conversation on the ideas of security in the blockchain space and how BPSAA has that as one of its core principles. I believe that Sentinel is also one of the founding members. There was like a core group of people, as I understand, that like really started it all, and then Komodo is part of like that next generation that came after that, and Sentinel has a major product release recently that I'm sure let's give some voice to, and we've got questions stacked up about security. So,
all right, here we go. Hi, DC123. Thanks for joining us.
Awesome. Thanks so much for having me. Yeah. So, DC123 on Discord. I go by Deedle, often in Telegram and on Twitter. My name's Dan, and I'm the CEO of Exidio. And Exidio is the software development arm building on the Sentinel network. So I'm, some person that speaks on behalf of Sentinel often, but Sentinel is truly a peer-to-peer network, and there is no one person in control of the network. Sentinel is a peer-to-peer bandwidth sharing network. So people can offer their excess bandwidth from their homes or from servers to a pool of network of bandwidth. And then others can access and route their traffic through that bandwidth. And applications can be built on top of that decentralized protocol. And so the most common applications that are being built on top of it are focused on privacy and security and decentralized VPN. And Exidio, the company I'm leading, is the company that can build this custom integrations on top of the Sentinel network. If you're looking to build your own custom VPN, decentralized VPN, and leverage the Sentinel peer-to-peer network. So that's it's kind of a lot, but essentially the network itself is a peer-to-peer network for bandwidth, and people can build their own custom integrations on top of the network. And we see that the Web3 stack is growing and is actually starting to come to fruition now, right? Like these were big promises we had back in 2017, and everyone was building their own D app, and a lot of them had like kind of ideals of grandeur, and all of a sudden we're going to have decentralized Facebook and decentralized Airbnb, but we didn't even have like the basic infrastructure in place to be able to build the core Web3 stack and have the right tooling in place. And so Sentinel, we believe, is an important part of the security and privacy of the Web3 stack, the networking level. And so people can build their own decentralized VPN applications and plug them into the Sentinel peer-to-peer network and leverage the nodes and the bandwidth on the network as the base layer infrastructure, and then they can build their own custom front-facing applications and build truly decentralized VPN. And VPN itself is an industry that has a lot of issues. We think of it as, oh, well, we want to have a more secure and private experience online. So we're going to pay for a VPN company, and all of a sudden our traffic is safe. But really, the industry itself, VPNs, it's a pretty murky and kind of like not truly competitive industry. It's actually more of an oligopoly, and there's several companies that own a lot of the companies that people use for VPNs. You just don't really realize it because they put different front-facing names on their on their products. But when you really peel back the onion, you realize that a lot of these are the same holding companies, and they say that they're not logging your user data and that it's end-to-end encrypted. And then that's actually not the case. NordVPN, one of the biggest VPN companies on the planet, was hacked in 2019. And it was proven that they were actually logging user data. And this has happened time and time again. And so this is an industry that really needs a lot more accountability. And instead of, surfing online and having our internet service provider being able to watch and crawl all of our metadata and then resell that to third parties or do what they want with that information, we're just passing the buck down the road to our VPN company that has that same access. But in a decentralized network, there is no one company that has access to the metadata and all the usage and all of your traffic that you're routing on the internet. And so a truly decentralized network makes for a far more secure experience online. So really excited about the work we're doing, and we see that the BPSAA is a crucial organization in building out that core, the core ethos and building out the right organizations that are working towards a more secure, decentralized web, working towards having better privacy online, and working towards seeing real adoption. And that's one thing that I think Sentinel is really, like as a founding member, the BPSAA perfectly aligns with the goals of the Blockchain Privacy and Security and Adoption Alliance. Applications built on the Sentinel network, there's been over 250,000 downloads of the applications. And the majority of users that are using Sentinel DVPN are not crypto native. They don't really care about blockchain. They're people around the world that are actually looking for a decentralized VPN and more secure VPN online. Sentinel is one of the few projects I would say that's crossed the Rubicon into a far more mainstream audience that are looking for this solution in the real world. And today actually was a big day in the history of Sentinel, the project, as Sentinel went live on its mainnet, on Cosmos-based mainnet at noon UTC today. So this is another big step in the journey towards getting mass adoption of the decentralized web.
Amazing. Yeah, that's fantastic. All these things that you're sharing with us, amazing, really brilliant. And I just wonder, it's incredible that like you said, there's been a crossover where now there are people who don't even necessarily care about crypto or blockchain or whatever, but they care about the principles that the decentralized private network is bringing to them. So did you think that would happen? Did you expect that, or is this a surprise to you?
It's not really a surprise. Sentinel's been around. The concept started in 2017, and the first decentralized VPN application was established in 2018. And so Sentinel has had a lot of years of growth and has consistently gotten feedback from community members on how to improve products and make them a better user experience. And that's where I think we're seeing extreme adoption, is because the applications that have been built on top of Sentinel are matching the user experience that you would get with the centralized VPN. If we're not able to match the user experience and the seamless, product interaction that you get with centralized companies, then all of this is in vain. We're not going to get the adoption that really matters. But that's something that I think Sentinel has really excelled at, is taking that feedback, consistently adopting products. And it's not just products that the Exidio, the company I work for, build on top of the network. Other companies are building on top of the network as well. There's another company called Elysium, and they built a product called the Velocity VPN, and you can go look for it on the Google Play Store. It has over 100,000 downloads, and I think it has 4.5 star reviews, and it has over 3,000 reviews on the Google Play Store. So these are products that are seeing real adoption, but we're looking to scale this now from the hundreds of thousands of users to the millions, and then into the tens of millions. So yeah, like you said, this is definitely not a product for a niche community on the internet, but really for a mass adoption.
Yeah, well, it sounds like it, and I'm really I'm glad to hear that the ability to match the user experience and basically the seamlessness of it. When you don't know that you're using something that's different, but it's that different, well, then you've really hit the sweet spot, it sounds like. So that's great. So if we move into now talking a bit more specifically about BPSAA, we talk about now there's a lot of adoption coming into the space most recently, especially this past year. It's definitely started a snowball effect. What are some, next wave of security thoughts that you have in relation to this new wave of adoption? Like maybe you have some privacy and more so security thoughts relating to that, and how the BPSAA might fit in and play a role.
Yeah, that's a great question. I think the most important thing we can do, whether someone's coming into crypto, to make quick gains, flipping some tokens, or whether they're looking to actually see about the core tech stack and how that can have a positive impact on people's lives. What's the most important thing we can do is have quality information and good education. So people need to understand what is, Komodo, what is Ether1, what is Sentinel, what are these projects doing, and how do we make that? We need to convey the values of what the projects are bringing in simple terms and accessible terms, but we need to do it, consistently, and we need to continue to be out there. And so I think that this is actually far better than it's ever been. I've been in the space for over 4 years now, or I guess 5 years now, and the amount of quality educational content is just so much greater than it's ever been. And so now people are actually thinking, what is like Web3, instead of just how do I make money on Bitcoin, or, oh, ETH is going up right now, how do I make money on that? People are questioning, what are the underlying technologies here and what are the implications of it? And now we're getting better podcasts, Komodo hosting this BPSAA day-long event. Like, this is incredible quality content that I think we haven't seen, and it's all starting to come to the fore right now. There's really great information, even like Coinbase, which is a place where a lot of people come when they first connect to the industry. They're starting to get better tutorials on what are proof of stake networks, what are proof of work networks, what are the implications of the different tokens that are at least on Coinbase. And so we're starting to get better access to information to the mainstream user when they're looking into this space. And I think that comes right back to security and privacy. So understanding what the challenges are with use your current VPN, and can you prove that they're open source? Can you prove that your experience is actually end-to-end encrypted? And if not, why? And then what are solutions that are able to provide those types of security promises for you? So yeah, I think really the first thing is, and the first through 10th thing, the most important it comes down to education and communication.
Wow, I'm really glad you mentioned that. It makes a lot of sense, and it does seem to wrap everything together. Now, we are going to be moving on to talk with Georgi from BitTube, who is they are the newest member, if I'm not mistaken, of the BPSAA. So maybe you're going to possibly share with us some, like, your thoughts on BitTube joining the BPSAA. But before you do that, if you wanted to say any last word about education, but you did kind of sum it up quite nicely there, so that's fine too. We can move on from that. Yeah, did you want to say something about about BitTube and BPSAA, and then we're going to move on and hear from Georgi specifically?
Yeah, so I think I listened to a podcast. I can kind of wrap this all into one. I listened to a podcast recently with one of the founders of Electric Capital. And he was on the FTX podcast, and FTX is actually putting out really good podcasts lately. Tristan is the host, and the founder of Electric Capital was talking about the adoption of these technologies and kind of his experience in the tech world that's gotten him to this point. And he was an early employee at Google and at Facebook, and had started up several companies that were acquired, and then has been in the crypto space for about a decade now. And he said that it's going to take, longer than we expect for some of the bigger changes that we're excited to see around the corner. But he said that the fringes are going to be the cases that have the most immediate need and the immediate adoption. So we think about people like countries that are going through extreme hyperinflation, fleeing to assets like Bitcoin because they're more secure and they're a better way to preserve their wealth. And then we think about people like content creators that are getting squeezed by our digital overlords, Google, Facebook, Amazon, Twitter. You know, there's like 5 or 6 companies that can squeeze your neck and can completely, and if you get deplatformed from them, it's as if you got lost access to your home and you've been removed from, you know, your land. You've been basically removed from the digital land. And so we need better distributed systems for content creators. And that's where I think BitTube is a huge part of that solution. And it's not going to be BitTube by itself. We're going to need more and more platforms providing access to content creators. You know, even Substrate and some of the like content creation platforms where you can own your own content have only popped up in the past 5 years and are gaining extreme adoption. I think we're going to see more of that. And I also think like products like Signal, people are starting to look for more secure adoption for consumer products. And so BitTube could be a huge part of giving the value back to the creator. And this is some of the like first use cases where the pain points are extreme enough that people look for other solutions.
Interesting. I'm glad you brought up the idea of security of one's content and the creations that we put out into the web, and also our presence there generally. So thank you for that very much, and thank you so much for joining us. We really appreciate you hearing from you. And Jcharming, do you have any thoughts about what you just heard? And then we're going to move on and hear from Georgi.
No, actually, that was all. Thanks for coming on to talk about all this, Sentinel. It's this is pretty huge. I know that you've been very busy with your mainnet and the product and the release that you've had going on, and yeah, I couldn't agree with everything that you're saying more. I just don't really have that much to add, and you gave great volume to a lot of really important topics.
Perfect. Well, we're going to keep our eyes out. A lot of things going on today that we might have just heard for the first time, many of us. So if you are joining us and you're still here, thanks for being here and listening to all of this great content. We hope it's of value to you. And we just heard a little bit about BitTube. We are going to move over and hear specifically from a representative of BitTube named Georgi. Georgi, are you there? You're on mute right now if you're not aware.
Hello, Georgi here from BitTube. Thank you to all the listeners and the Alliance members for setting up this webinar. Can you hear me?
We can hear you just fine. Thank you.
Okay.
I hope you enjoyed some of that talk. And,
yeah.
We're excited to hear.
So, like the motto of the BPSAA is privacy by default. Since the beginning, BitTube's motto is monetization by default. And we were really glad to be part of the... Sorry.
Okay, well, Georgi, just right on cue. This is how things work, aren't they?
Yeah, I mean,
right.
I really like that this, like in the space that, like, you know, we have families, like we have lives, we have things going on. Like this is our movement. Like this is the like grassroots crypto movement. Like we're not just stuck into offices.
I really apologize. My daughter is calling me.
No, this is
you have nothing to apologize for.
Georgi.
Yeah. So
exactly. Jcharming brings it. Anyway, okay, continue, please. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, so we are really glad this alliance came along, and we are part of it now. First, we shared the privacy aspect and adoption aspect very much, starting with education and moving towards the interoperability between the tools offered by the projects. And so here I will just come to some questions that most of our community and all people that hear about BitTube for the first time is it an ad-free monetization even possible? How a website can be monetized without advertisements? because the advertisement network and the model of advertisement is like, if you're an owner of a website and you want to earn from it, or you're a content creator, you rely on some of your visitors clicking on these ads, which is a bit contradictory because it's moving away the visitor from your content. So we at BitTube and the team were thinking, and we found that the time is what is scarce, and that we can build monetization based on time, or based on the time that online content is being consumed. And I will not go through so much because the BitTube is like an ecosystem, and it will take a lot of time. But the main focus with the monetization is we call it airtime. So when you create your BitTube profile, you have the tools to generate a piece of code, which is just 3 lines of piece of code, and you put it on your website, and then your website is being monetized. I will show here, for example, our website that has the model installed. So any website can install this model, and it opens a model, and which is recording your time spent on this website. And here I want to go and point some permissions, because we're talking about privacy. What permissions does this module require, and what does means for the end user? So when we submit the most of the BitTube profile and tools are done by the BitTube browser extension. And whenever a BitTube user visits a website for the first time known to the network, let's say, for example, the website of the Alliance, it creates a cryptocurrency address for this website, for this domain, which later on can be linked, and even if the owner of the website is not aware that had visits from BitTube users, there will be accrued some earnings from the traffic from the BitTube users. And there is also a way to earn from non-BitTube users. We call them guest visits to this website. So the permissions, we all know that advertisement networks are tracking our online behavior. And when we've submitted the extension to the browser store, to the Chrome store, for example, there is very little attention put into what permissions are needed by the extension. They were very general, like you could only use no permissions at all, some permissions, and all the permissions. And in order to work, our extension to work, we need all permissions. But that sounds a bit scary to some of the users. And we have here put a tutorial explaining why we need that. And I would just go very quickly. So the extension asks you to read any data on the websites. Of course, that's needed because, let's say, you go over to so okay, I'm pressing now the M button, but
that's okay. I'm glad you're telling us this.
Yeah, the extension needs to read what is on the website, so you can donate to the website and just see. But this doesn't mean it's reading your email addresses or any login details that you are entering onto this website. There's just no separation into the Chrome store admin panel about this. modify and read privacy settings, that's only needed because the extension is setting do not track request, because it has an incorporated ad blocker inside, and so on. About this privacy, people that are privacy oriented, that's important. And the I'm just moving to the other question. So about privacy, it sounds like the extension can read a lot of things, but that's only related to the earnings, the donations, and so we know to who to send the donation to. And here now we're moving naturally to the other topic, which is how to connect content creators and their audience directly. So that's, for us, it's important because.
So Georgi.
Yeah.
Sorry, I don't mean to interrupt you. We do have a few minutes left, so I'll give you a chance to go on to what you're going to say now. I just wanted to make sure to be clear that you were telling us that the user will have to enable all of the options, but that it's not a concern, and you've given us the reasons why. So the users don't really need to be concerned in that way, and it's about connecting the guests and the other BitTube users into the website to be able to monetize that way, right?
That's correct. For example, let's say this website, I open my extension and immediately I can see donate to, and here is the domain. So I can directly donate and confirm.
That looks like
and
fun
that's
to
it.
use.
Donation sent.
Yeah.
If
Great.
you link
No,
this
is great.
website. Yeah.
One thing that it sounds like is that the BPSAA, the members in this alliance are all seem to be bringing forward interesting and fun, good to use applications or products or services, and so this is just another example of that. Okay, so you were going to go on to tell us one last thing here, so I cut you off. So please do continue, and then we're going to have to end our live stream just shortly after that. So please continue, George.
Thank you. So for us, it's important to connect directly the content creators and their audience, and we've been doing this through all the possible ways people use internet. Let's say you have a blog, or you have your own domain website, or you just have a social profile, and let's say Twitter. We go to Twitter. Sorry. No, I cannot do it because I need to press. Okay, anyway, on any social network, if you have a profile on Twitter, people can send you a donation, and this transaction is direct and private because the Tube coin is based on Monero. Recently, we changed the algorithm to Kookaroo. It's a proof of work coin, and it's also private, not private as other private coins, but only the sender and the recipient know who actually did the transaction.
Interesting.
So
this is all available, and this is available through that that looks like a web application, right?
It's a browser extension. Down, right? That's the main.
Sorry, that's what I meant. Browser extension.
Yeah.
Cool. So keep going. Yeah.
And the last thing about adoption is we said, okay, how we spread this and how we make people use it. So I want to thank to all the people that are mining the Tube coin, because they agree to share 50% of the block reward to make this revenue pool that is distributed to all the users from the block reward. So the 50% of the block reward goes to the revenue pool, and we approach this way of adoption is our users are earning Tube coins just for browsing the internet. So they can donate to someone, they can just experiment with a transaction. They don't need to put any of their money into buying some coins to just experience how cryptocurrency works.
This is great. And this is a nice opportunity of adoption where you can just use it and earn it and just participate in that way. So thank you for that. You know, Georgi, if you have any last things to say, I'll give you a chance to do that. And then we're going to move on. We're going to have some Q&As. We'll have a bit of a bigger group of people who are still around here, and we'll finish off the stream with some thank yous and other infos. So Georgi, is there any last thing that you wanted to share with us about the BPSAA? How do you feel about BitTube joining BPSAA, and any thoughts surrounding that?
Yeah, we're excited. It came along, and we really believe that we can collaborate because our primary focus was our support to the BitTube users, and we've seen from that education and making the tools intuitive is very important, and that's actually our core marketing strategy to provide good support and provide the articles and the guidance to all the people that want to get into this world and value
Beautiful.
privacy.
Beautiful. Well, thank you very much, Georgi, and thank you
Yeah,
for
we can
being
go.
here.
Yeah, if there's any questions.
Definitely. Okay, we're going to move over to Jcharming, and he's going to lead us into a bit more of a Q&A period. Thank you for that. And I did want to mention, one of the big proponents and advocates for the BPSAA and all the different members is Crypto Rich, and he was just having a bit of technical difficulties today, so he wasn't able to make it. But definitely big shout outs to Crypto Rich for trying to do his best to get the word out about the BPSAA and all the good things going on there. So we're going to segue over now to a bit of a bigger panel. So we have Georgi here from BitTube, and joining us still is Hashratez from Ether1, and Jcharming.
I think we might have Poly here as well. Yeah.
Awesome. Polycryptoblog maybe is here still. There he is.
Maybe.
Awesome.
Possibly.
Okay. So Jcharming, I'm going to throw it to you for the first thought and question.
Yeah. So I mean, this is pretty much it. We're winding it down now. This is a great set of conversations and presentations, and really looking forward to kind of the pathway for distributing and sharing this like over the next week. In fact, we'll kind of like talk about like the end steps too after this conversation. So for those of us that are still here, and I know that Otto's behind the scenes right now, basically running and making this all happen. Otto, who is the CMO of Komodo, making all this magic happen, and Delton, who is director of content here, has been feeding lots of stuff into the question docs and whatnot like that. So just want to be sure to give shout outs to all the other people that are behind the scenes right now making things happen. So what we've got is kind of like a next steps for those of us that are still here, for the presenters that are still in attendance. What's the question I want to put out there is, what do you think that would be the number one thing that somebody that's coming into the space that's new to crypto, that probably came in through DeFi and the NFT and like is here for this, this bull run that's been going on, what's something that they can do that isn't money oriented, that isn't just about the price action? Like what's something that they should be investigating into? What's some of the advice from the BPSAA members here?
Yeah, we just heard from Georgi about using the BitTube and Ether One. You've got the hosting that can be used right now. Is that correct?
Yeah, I mean, our solution's been up for years for hosting. It's Jcharming. It's a good question. Everybody's focused obviously on cryptocurrency and the price action, right? I mean, that seems still to be 99% of the business. I think that what's happening now, like with BitTube and other things in our platform, again, now speaking as a libertarian and thinking about individual rights, is I think people need to step up and really start thinking about this erosion of individual rights and privacy. And it's funny, everybody thinks, oh yeah, it's not going to happen here. It's the United States. You guys are the overlords. It's always bad there. But I don't know if you know this, but in Switzerland and the Netherlands last year, all CEXs are reporting transactions to the governments. It actually started in the Netherlands and Switzerland. So if you think that you're out there trading along and then, and you're just not an American, it's actually happening already in Europe. And so I would say that people need to understand that there's this war on your privacy, and it's happening today, and it's already taking place. And in the US, we had at the end of the Trump administration, the outgoing Commerce Secretary, Treasury Secretary threw out a landmine over the fence for crypto registration and transactions called the travel rule and all that. And I don't know where it was. There was a big hullabaloo. We did it over Christmas to try to hide it. So if you don't think that they're not after to watch everything that you do, I think everybody needs to take a personal responsibility to really understand what's going on. And it's not just the United States. I guess that's the point I wanted to make. It actually happened in Switzerland and the Netherlands first.
Yeah, that's some good points. Yeah.
So then where do you see, so within the, like, for example, United States and already established places, the places that are pretty, in bed with the type of bankers and central bankers and central banker of central bankers that are already talking about how things are not, that they can't be tracked. They don't know everything. There's privacy. They use privacy as though it's like a dirty word. So where in the world do you see, or if you don't see, that might be the case too, but is there anywhere, like, where is the beacon of light where things are looking up for us? And to second the other point though, is I actually do want to come back to that point you made about each of us having to take accountability and take responsibility for the type of future we want to happen. And if
I think that's where it's at.
If people are not going to use the things that are being built for us, then we're not going to have that type of future, and therefore it becomes so important to use. So it becomes important for Ether One and for BitTube and all of that to make these tools available and accessible to us and easy enough for us to use. But it becomes our responsibility to educate ourselves and to use them. And then I guess that's where BPSAA can come in and offer some of that education and opportunity.
Yeah, BPSAA right now doesn't really have a name for itself, right? We've got to have 400,000 subscribers or Twitter followers across our organizations. But I think it's like everything else. The man, whoever the man is, whether it happens to be the US man or the European man or the Asian man, they're counting on fragmentation, right? Divide and conquer. It's the oldest rule of war, right? Divide and conquer. So the BPSAA, as I said earlier, is almost taking on a role that I don't think we thought about. When we started this as a founding member with Sentinel and Turtle and I think Pirate were the 4 founding members, we weren't thinking about individual advocacy rights for our end users. We were thinking about our projects and banding together and collaboration. But I see it as bigger. I mean, I see the BPSAA could be an organization to help represent individuals that want to have cryptocurrency in freedom. It's not about trying to be a bad guy or doing illicit trade or hiding your transactions. It's about the ability to be able to have financial freedom and to be able to fight for that. And that could be the bigger role for the BPSAA down the road. Maybe 2 or 3 years down the road, we've got hundreds or tens of millions of users around the world, and they come to us and we try to navigate these waters. I mean, if somebody doesn't do it, then it's not going to get done. And maybe we're going to be tasked with a role we never imagined. I don't know. I hope so. Somebody better do it, or they're going to crush us. And I mean,
That's
us
right.
as in the crypto users, right?
Yeah, no, you're right. You're right. And there you go. There you have it. And BPSAA is such an important organization, alliance, and it only is going to grow from here. So that's good to know. And we thank you for coming on. We're going to move on now. Unfortunately, time just flies. So we're going to just hear. Thanks for those responses.
Yeah, can you believe it's been like 3 hours now?
Oh my gosh. So we're moving over here. Jcharming is going to recap a few things for us before we say our final goodbyes.
Yeah. And thank you, Hashratez, for giving some great volume, some really important topics there. Looking forward
Thank you.
to...
Great job, guys. Great job.
Yeah. Definitely looking forward to more of these events. All
All
right.
right.
You've had it, everybody. That's the 3 hours of the BPSAA webinar, blockchain privacy, security, and adoption, and the snapshot there of it. This is put out by Komodo, who's one of the members of BPSAA, and we're looking forward to doing more of these events with more of the BPSAA members and more projects in general in the coming months. If you have not gone to the landing page yet, like if you found your way to this conference through Twitter or through YouTube or some other ways, we have a landing page specifically for this event at komodoplatform.com under the events category. And when you scroll down to the bottom of that, or you go to our blogs, or you visit any of the channels that have been shouting out about BPSAA and any of the projects here, you can find the BPSAA vision paper, which members of the BPSAA, most notably Draeth, helped draft to give an explainer for what is BPSAA, the 3 topics that are crucial pillars of the vision. And for us at Komodo, like what's our relationship to it, which we give a little bit to down at the bottom, and we have a nice call to action, which is asking everybody in our Komodo audience to join BPSAA as you hear us talking about it more and more.
And I really just can't say enough about the community and collection that is BPSAA. Many people that will hear about this or have been tuned into it while it's been live are some of the Komodo audience members that were part of the Atomic Dex stress test back at the beginning of December, that there was a lot of conferencing around, and the conversation that came out of that about wanting more conferencing and wanting to understand more about what projects are doing and where to find things in the space, and just like how do we not get like all centralized and tribal and trapped into like 1 or 2 projects thinking that like that's the only answers that exist. And it's not even necessarily that it has to be competitive. There's room in this space for everybody. It's this space, not against each other, but if it's against anything, we're trying to shift the balance of the legacy financial systems that just have this terrible hold on the world. And we have tools now that we've never had access to before in order to try to do that. All right, enough of that soapbox. So after you visit the BPSAA vision page and you go back and you watch these events and you tell everybody about them, I'm sure, you can also hook into the Earn for Learning program that Komodo has started. And that is at the bottom of the BPSAA landing page as well. It's also a blog that's been syndicated. You can find it out there on Twitter. And what you can do is you can come and you can earn some crypto for learning about BPSAA and the events here. And there's some rules for participating. To download the Atomic Dex and then find your Atomic Dex KMD address. You go to Twitter and you use the hashtag Bitcoin and hashtag BPSAA in a tweet to tell us about something that you learned from the spring 2021 BPSAA webinar. Higher quality responses will receive a larger KMD reward. You can write your tweet in English or in your native language. We love the multi-regional audiences that we've been developing, and we want to encourage that as much as possible. And step 3 is to sign up for our mailing list and fill out the form so that you can get us the information so that you did the previous steps. This is going to be happening for the next 7 days. So you can do it now, you can do it tomorrow, you can do it next week sometime, if you feel like it, you can tell somebody else to do it and they'll do it next week. Everybody that comes and learns about BPSAA and like gets hooked into this, we want to help foster this education and this opportunity for everybody to get an adaptive education. And we know that it's got to start small, like just start with sound bites and start with this, get a couple people interested. And then before you know it, like everybody's getting a little bit more educated about the space. And soon we're all adopting better solutions for privacy, security, and moving on. And I'll
I
hand
can
it
think
back
of at
to
least, yeah, I can think of at least one person that I'm going to get to do that earn for learning task. And
yeah.
I'm super glad that it's about the BPSAA too. So that's like a double win.
Yeah, definitely. Big shout out to Otto, the CMO, who has been doing all the work in the background, making sure that this technical thing happens. And big shout out to Delton, who did all the content generation for a bunch of the copyright on this event. So thank you for that. Big shout out to every BPSAA member that came on here and all the projects, whether they were able to attend or not. And I don't know if I'm sure there's people that
Yeah,
I'm missing
also,
right now, but
yeah, also shout out to Jack, who's our community contributor, who made all the editing for some of the interviews we shot today. And also, he has made the layout that you're seeing on the screen. And I've been using together to create this layout and these screens and the slides and the graphics. And also, of course, a huge shout out to ejuliano for being an amazing host again, like always.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
And
yeah,
also,
shout out to
as Ray was
ejuliano.
saying,
I like having
yeah,
fun. It's fun. You
and
know
also
what?
shout out
These
to
events are super fun and it's nice to be around.
for sure. And I also want to give a shout out to Cryptorich, whom with I was talking, and we tried to get him on as to be an MC, but like Julian was saying, he ran into technical difficulties and could join unfortunately, but perhaps next time.
Yeah, I can't think of a bigger advocate for BPSAA than Crypto Rich. Well, I mean, I know there are a lot of big advocates, so, but you know what I'm saying.
Crypto Rich is huge for everybody. He's fantastic. Really.
Yeah, you guys know what I mean. Alrighty. Well, yeah, thanks again for being with us here. All the community. What I like too about these events is you guys have brought together different communities. I mean, associated communities, but still different communities come together to one spot to learn about each other and what's going on. And I really respect and appreciate that. So good job, Komodo, for hosting this spring 2021 BPSAA webinar. I'm definitely looking forward to more of this type of action. So we're going to sign out from here. Thanks again, Jcharming. And I'm ejuliano.
Thank you too, Ejuliano.
Yeah. All right. And there's a good wave from Hashratez. Thanks again. And thanks everybody for being here. Take care. Bye for now.